Welcome everyone to our training this morning, Transmitter Solutions training. Glad you're joining us. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day on this Friday to be with us. We're going to go through, as the training has been advertised, our iGAZE RE kit, which is a new wireless device that we have recently put through UL. It is a UL listed device that is a very versatile unit, and I think as we go through the functionality of it this morning, you'll understand why this is something that can be beneficial to you as you're installing on the job, on your truck. It allows you to do a lot of things, and we'll go through that. We also want to show you our line of safety edge devices, different profiles that we have, the versatility of those edges as well. In installing them in the field, how easy they are, the functionality of them, and some of those things that help make your life a little bit easier as you're out in the hot sun, in the cold weather, installing these gates, installing these edges and these wireless kits. Just a quick housekeeping note, we do want to be available for questions to be asked throughout the training. There's probably a 20-second delay from our live feed to what you're seeing, so bear with us as we get to your questions, but feel free to ask questions as they come about. So let's jump into it. I don't want to take more than 30 minutes in this training, so let's get right into it. My goal is to help you understand these products, and we'll go through a quick installation. The first thing I want to do is jump to the computer and go through just an overview of these products really quick. So all of you can follow along if you want on transmittersolutions.com. We try to make everything available for you. All the cut sheets, manuals, product information can all be found on transmittersolutions.com. If you go to our products, we're going to be in the UL section for most of the day, so bottom of that tab, UL 325 Solutions. This is the product that we're going to start with. Excuse me, we're not going to start with that. We're going to start with our safety edges because I want to show you how these are put together, and then we'll install these on a door king operator that we have here in our training room. So we have a few different profiles of safety edges that are available to you. Our most popular is probably our traditional profile. Some unique benefits to this are it's non-glue. That's a big thing. We have a plug-and sense system that allows you to put these safety edges together in the field without glue to a specific length that you need. So gone are the days of trying to glue your edges and messing with, having a 3-foot length for a 6-foot gate. What we will provide you, and I will show you on the camera here in a minute, are some scissors that you can cut these edges with to specific lengths. But looking at this picture, you can see that there are, the centerpiece here is the conductive part of this rubber edge. And it, as you can see, can be triggered from 3 different angles, basically. So if there's an obstruction from the top, it's going to trigger. If there's an obstruction from either side, you can see the conductivity of that rubber will allow that edge to trigger. Another benefit, there are these 3 outer exterior chambers that prevent imminent damage to these edges. So let's say you're in an industrial area and the forklift accidentally hits the edge and cuts the rubber on one of those chambers. Well, that's okay with this edge because the conductivity part of the edge is on the inner chamber. So the edge will still function if it does get damaged on those exterior chambers, which is a great benefit because we do know that some of these edges are installed in rugged areas and there's going to be times when they're bumped and cut and the edge is still going to work as it should. Now, Melissa, if we could go over to the camera, I want to show how easy it is to put one of these edges together. And before we get into that, I'll tell you the options that we have in this edge. We have caps that can work both monitored and non-monitored edges. So monitored being a 10K resistive piece and an 8.2K resistive piece. And then we also have, for the non-monitored side, a normally open cap that will work on all of the legacy operators that are not UL, not looking for those monitored devices. So I'm gonna bring these pieces a little bit closer to the camera so that you can see them as I put this edge together. And I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not an installer, and I can put this together very quickly. So I'll show you, this is our traditional profile edge there. You can see the conductivity, the conductive rubber there in the middle, and then those 3 outer chambers. So the first piece that you're going to install is the lock cap, which looks like this, and it will go into those 3 chambers. I'm going to try to do this so that you can see. It fits right in there, nice and snug, and it will allow for this second piece that I'm going to put in, which is the plug with, you can see on the back of this, it says 10K. Maybe you can see if the camera will zoom in there and focus. Well, trust me, it says 10K on that cap. We also, like I said, have those available in 8.2 or a blank, which is a normally open cap. This piece will slide into the conductive part of this safety edge, and it will lock in place with these 2 cutout edges that lock into the lock plug. So it is, once you get these in place, it is very hard to pull these pieces apart. Very secure edge there. The second piece, or the third piece, excuse me, that we'll use is this end cap. And I haven't done it, but what you will want to do with this end cap is there's a few perforated holes that you'll want to plug out. So you see that perforated hole in the middle there, and that's to allow for the water to drain out as water as it rains and water it gets in the edge. It will allow for a drain to drain out the bottom of that edge as it sits on the gate. So that end cap goes over the end like that. And the last piece is this clip here that will secure everything in place. So that's the side of the edge with the technology that you need. Now I'm going to grab the other side of the edge, which has similar parts. The first being this lock plug here that will go in the same way. And then you'll take your wired plug, which wires into either your gate operator or your wireless safety edge device. And that fits and locks into place. You'll take your end cap here, put that in place, and then finish off with the clip that will secure the edge together. Let's see here. Make sure I got these holes lined up and lock that guy into place. So there you have it. In literally 2 minutes, you can make an edge to whatever size you would like. And I told you about these cutters that we can send to you. So what a lot of our dealers like to do is that we can sell this to you in an 82-foot roll of edge. So you'll get a bunch of edges. You can buy whatever end caps you need, and then you can be on the job and you can say, hey, I need 5 foot of edge for this job. Pull out your scissors here, and literally it's very simple to cut these edges to the size that you need, and then you can customize that in the field. So we think that that's a great benefit to you as you're out going from job to job, from operator to operator, installing these edges. I do want to show you really quickly a couple other profiles that we have. We have wraparound edges in both a square and a round profile. And you can see that there's 3 obstruction points. You can see the 3 chambers here. 1, 2, 3. So for whatever side this edge is obstructed from, you'll have your safety in place. And same with the square edge. One note, one thing to mention with these edges is these come in 5 foot lengths. So these can't be cut in the field, but we can send them to you in 5 foot lengths. So that's the wraparound edges. We also have, if you want to zoom in on this edge here, Melissa, this is our industrial door edge, our overhead door edge. with the same plug and sense system with the end caps, but it has the weather stripping on the bottom for a roll-up door in the event that you need something for a roll-up door for an industrial door. We have spent a lot of time in becoming compliant with our safety devices. We've spent a lot of time bringing in different manufactured operators and creating wiring diagrams, creating instructions, and if you have a specific operator that you use, we may have the wiring diagram already here. It's in our UL section here at the bottom. But if you do not see your operator of choice here on these few handouts here, we'd like to bring in those operators, and we'd like to make wiring diagrams for you. We're looking for more opportunities to become compliant with all of the different operators that we can. Right now we have Automatic, Door King, High Security, Nice, and LiftMaster that we have wiring diagrams for, but like I mentioned, we'd like to expand those lists. So the operator that we're going to be working with today is the Door King 9150. It's this operator here, and you can see we show you here when you're wiring up one of our photo eyes, where those inputs, the different dip switches that need to be on the Door King operator, and then down to our edge kits, showing you dip switches, where they wire, how everything needs to be done, how the gate should react, those types of things. So this is what we're gonna run through this, so you can get an idea of how easy it is to install these edges. So I'm going to grab this 10K edge that we just made. So you can see I have the receiver mounted inside the Door King operator here. This is what we'll connect and wire in to the terminal block on the Door King operator. The transmitter can allow for wiring in up to 2 safety edges per transmitter, and then 8 transmitters can be learned into the receiver. So you have a quite versatile there with the number of edges that you can run off this device. So the first thing we're going to do, if we can zoom in on this receiver here, we're going to run through the inputs of the wiring that we have here. Over on the left-hand side, you have your 12 or 24 volt AC or DC input. It's auto detect, so there's no dip switch or jumper that you have to put in place. It will auto detect the power that you're inputting in there, 12 or 24 volt AC or DC power. These second 2 wires are relay control wires. We have our normally open wire here, which is green, coming out of output 1. And our common wire there, which is white. Oh, excuse me, this white wire here, and then normally open here. And then on our output 2, we have our common and our normally open wire, which is the darker green. Now these are being wired into safety input 3 and 4 on the Door King operator, which are the open and close edge inputs. And you can see all this on that wiring diagram that I showed you. But these are the inputs we're going to be working with. And you can see right now on the Door King operator that these lights are flashing. There's 2 LED lights that are flashing, indicating to us that there are no safety devices connected. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to connect a normally open edge and also a 10K edge. And that's something that actually I should note. Another advantage of this system, of the iGAZE RE kit, is we don't care what type of edge you're connecting to the transmitter. You'll see you can have a normally open edge, you can have a 10K resistive edge, you can have an 8.2K resistive edge, a normally closed edge. It doesn't matter. We will work and transfer that signal to whatever the receiver needs to put into the gate operator. So I'll show you how that works really quick. So back over to the receiver, the first thing we're going to do once our wiring is in place is set these dip switches to what we need. And if you can zoom in really close to these dip switches, Melissa, I'll go through them here. Okay, so these bottom two dip switches determine the output signal of output 1 and output 2, or safety edge 1 and safety edge 2. So because this is a door king operator and it's looking for a 10K resistor or resistance, we have both of these dip switches set to on. Because on both of the safety edges, we want it to output to the receiver 10K. So we need both of those edges on, or both of those dip switches on. Dip switch 3 and 4 indicate the frequency between the transmitter and the receiver. So I'm going to keep dip switch 3 and 4 off on the receiver, and we'll do the same on the transmitter so that it's speaking on the same frequency. Dip switch 2 is the buzzer. I have that off. You can turn the buzzer on if you'd like. And then dip switch 1 is for testing purposes. So we have those dip switches set. Now let's go to the transmitter, and we'll get the dip switches set on our transmitter. I'm going to wire in this safety edge that we just made, this 10K edge. You can see that the edge that I currently have wired in is a normally open edge that will trigger output 2. And then this 10K edge that we just put together will trigger output 1. So I'm going to wire those in. And a trick for wiring here, this electronic board, it's not screwed in so it can pop out, and then it makes it a little bit easier to wire with it outside of that housing. On the edges, on the wires, polarity doesn't matter, so you could put either wire into either input, and you're not going to have issues. So I'm going to try with my big fingers here to wire these small little wires in. Try to do it real quick. Okay, so now we have two safety devices connected to this transmitter. A normally open edge and a 10K resistive edge. Now we need to program these edges into the specific outputs of the receiver. And this is how we do that. If we could put the camera up here by the receiver, what I'm going to do is for output 1, and hopefully you can hear this as I'm programming, but for output 1, I will push this red learn button until I hear one audible beep from the receiver. When I hear that beep, I will press the safety edge input that I want to learn into that output. And you'll get 2 audible beeps to confirm that that was learned in. So now you can see that safety edge 1 has been learned into output 1, and the light on the door king operator has stopped blinking because now it's sensing that edge. We're going to do the same thing with our normally open edge now into output 2. So I'll hold this red learn button until we hear 2 audible beeps. And then I'll press the test 2 button on the transmitter and learn that edge in. So now I have these edges learned in, as simple as that. So this is the open edge, and this is my closed edge. And my wire just fell out, so I got to put that back in. All right. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, so we got these wired in to our transmitter. We've learned the transmitter into the specific outputs of the receiver. And now we'll do a quick run-through test of the operator working. So I'm going to fire the gate here with our handheld transmitter. And I'm going to hit the open edge. You can see the gate stops and it will reverse to the fully closed position. Now we'll run it through a cycle again. Let it open all the way. And it will time out and close. And then we'll hit our 10K close edge. And it'll stop the operator and reverse it to the open position. And it'll time out and close again. And the second obstruction is going to open this operator, and it's going to go into a safety mode, as it should. All door king operators, once they sense those two obstructions, it goes into safety mode. So as simple as that. Look how versatile this system is. We connected a 10K edge, a normally open edge, wirelessly to a door king operator that's looking for a 10K resistor, and everything working as it should, and no issues. And that took us probably 10 minutes to install. So very versatile equipment here that we have available to you as you're out there working with different style operators. And once again, I want to reiterate that we want this to be compatible with as many manufacturers as possible. So we have product engineers here whose job it is to test products all day long on different manufacturers, different gate operators, and we want to get the operator of your choice into our manuals so we can have that literature available as you're out installing and wiring these devices. So I only took 22 minutes of your time this morning, but I want to open it up for any questions. We also have people in the room that if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We can go through whatever you need.
The wraparound and square edges, we do have them in 5-foot lengths. They're also available, and they're pre-made. We have them in 4-foot that we can get, and we can get them in 6-foot. So if that is a request and a need, they're pre-built. They aren't, you can't build them in the field, but they're pre-built, and we have in stock 5, but we can get 4, and we can get 6-foot.
We'll still be live here for another 5 minutes or so, so if you have questions that come to mind, type those in. We'll address those. Otherwise, we appreciate your attendance. And for pricing and availability, we have these in stock. All of these products we've talked about today, we have in stock. Reach out to your sales reps here at Transmitter Solutions. We can get pricing to you.
Okay, we have a question come in. The question is, what is the maximum distance between transmitter and receiver?
So that's a good question. Distance between transmitter and receiver. These are speaking on 900 megahertz between the transmitter and the receiver. So line of sight, we've tested that up to, I personally have tested it up to 150 feet. I've tested it out of a metal box up to 60 feet. I know a lot of times you want to install the receiver in the enclosure of the gate operator. Some of those enclosures are metal, so the RF, to get out of the metal, it'll obstruct it a little bit. But we have done testing here up to 60 feet through a metal obstruction. So you're going to get good range between the transmitter and the receiver. And we have one other comment to that.
If you are having issues with installing it, our cases have been outdoor rated UL. We believe we're one of the only ones that have the outdoor cases that are actually outdoor rated and UL approved. So if you're having issues with range and you're having it in there, you can install these outside because they are outdoor rated.
We're going to go offline now, so if you have questions that come up, get with your rep here at Transmitter Solutions for any questions and pricing. And thanks for joining us.